Boy, I do love me some eFoamer. So I've had this IK eFoamer for a long while now, and it's served me pretty well. I think this is one of the first units too, so I think it's been holding up just fine up to this point. I know though there have been instances of shutting down and just not working anymore. So I think I'm like one of the lucky few that bought these first wave units, and it's still working pretty decently, although it does have its weird little hiccups here and there, and that does scare me. But it's been real nice to use whenever I do have a use for it, especially for the tires and the wheels on my vehicles. But one of the issues is that it is really expensive for what it is. It's $120 for this device right here. And yeah, there are cheaper versions like this one. I've used it from here. I've used this a lot, quite a bit, before this came out, because it's IK. Like I have the 12s, and those are really nice to use. And it is what it is. It's just like a really, really nice device. But is it $120 worth? I don't know. And I kind of wish there was an equal competitor on the market. But what if I told you that there potentially is one, finally, that I found on the market? So in this box right here holds that possible product I'm about to unveil to you guys. And it is in another box, but if you look right here, this is from Sprayer Plus, and it is a electric e-foaming device called the 704 Foam Mini. So I actually came across its bigger brethren thanks to Carlos Serrano of Serrano Detailing. I watched a couple of his videos from time to time, and I came across his most recent one, which is the one that has a big one. It's like the 2-gallon sprayer that has a motor on top, especially with like brushless and quiet and all that stuff. This same company, I looked up on their website and I found this. I'm like, oh, you know what? This could actually be the one to go to instead of the IK. So they might be the IK killer that maybe some people may dub, but we'll see about that. Let's go ahead and open this up. Should be straightforward with the unboxing and stuff like that. So, okay, so when it comes to the little parts, it does have, it does come with some silicone grease for your O-rings, I think. Some filters right here, so that's pretty nice. Charging cable, of course, USB Type-C. And of course, an extra tip, it looks like. And of course, the tip right here. And most importantly, of course, the device itself. So, wow. It's actually quite well built for something that's actually cheaper than this. So this is the eFoamer itself. It is on the more bigger side, or it's like fat, but that means it does have a good balance to it. So that is actually kind of neat. And it actually comes with not only one handle, but 2 handles. So if you want to carry like this, then that is a way to do it, I guess. Yeah. So that's actually pretty cool. So let me assemble the tip right here. All right, the tip is assembled. Let's look at them side by side right here. So you kind of see right away, you can kind of see that this could be a little more on the slimmer side, and this is more on the fat side. But at least this could stand up pretty good. Very much more simplistic design, whereas this definitely has some sort of complex shape to it, a little more than like this. And looking at this, I have to say, just a little bit of a side note. It reminds me of those like portable bottles that have like their little dispenser on the top. You can take you can use it for like summer it holds like water, or you hold like iced tea in there, or whatever drink you want. Really reminds me of that, especially with the color and especially with the handle, right? It comes with this handle right here, which is really funny. It really reminds me of that. I'll throw up a picture on the screen, but anyway, that's what it really reminds me of. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, it's kind of similar, but also different at the same time. They both have their sort of distinct differences, of course, in the physical aspect of things. And of course, if you look out on this side, it does say detergent and cleaner only. And on the sticker right here, with the green, yellow, and black, it does tell you that it can be used for sulfuric acid, nitric acid, and sodium hydroxide for the good, it says right here. And then it'll fairly perform with citric acid, hydrofluoric acid, potassium hydroxide, vinegar, so on and so forth. So depending on your dilutions, of course, this will do. Gotta say about this product right here, this is supposed to be cheaper actually than the IK foamer, but this is actually very sturdy feeling. It looks like it's very robust feeling. Just feels like it's just not gonna break, which is awesome already. So as the IK eFoamer is about 120 bucks usually, this guy right here cost me about 90. So right off the bat, it does seem very promising in first impressions. And yeah, so the trigger is also very similar. So this actually does come with the trigger lock mechanism right here. So all I have to do is hold it down and then push this a little forward, and it'll actually hold down the trigger for you. And then you do the reverse like that, and then to release it in order to stop the trigger, of course. Pretty cool actually. Very simplistic and very cool. And I don't think this has a locking mechanism. It does have a safety mechanism, so you don't like accidentally hit the thing. So I guess that's a one-up though, I guess, if you think about it. You know, would you want a trigger lock for holding down your spray, or a safety lock in case so that you don't like accidentally spray your product onto the wrong spot of your car or something, which has happened to me a number of times, forgetting the safety mechanism. Another thing to consider, of course, is the noise on these things. The IK is pretty noisy. Will is trying to charge up and pressurize, but I did take a listen to this very briefly. So what you do with this is hold down the button right here, as similar with the IK sprayer, and it'll actually have a little display right here to tell you how much PSI is there. So once it reaches down, oh, there you go. It actually is a little quieter. It's not that like that E sound that you get from the IK. This is a little more on the mild side, so I can definitely say that this is a little more tolerable to listen to in comparison to the IK. The decibels and stuff like that, I imagine, will be a little similar, but yeah. If you want to relieve the pressure, then you hit this red lock right here, and you actually can do that with maybe with your finger right here, like a one-hand operation. Yeah, you kind of can do that. But otherwise, yeah, you just push down the red lever right here, and then there you go. Whereas, on the IK, you have to pull on that white tab right there. So take your pick, I guess. And then when it comes to opening up for the liquid and stuff like that, this is what the tank looks like. This holds about 1.2 liters of liquid, whereas this holds about a maximum of 1.5 liters of liquid. So very, very close as well in the volume department right there. And oh wow, it kind of tightens up nicely actually too. So again, I must say, for something that's cheaper than the IK, this is actually really well built. So that's actually really nice. And this is what the straw looks like. It doesn't really have that like the flexible tube or anything like that, unfortunately, but it is what it is. And when it comes to the feel of holding these things, I feel like this has a better balance overall in comparison to this. Like all the weight is on the bottom. The weight, even though the motor is on top, feels like it's like evenly distributed when they're both empty, that is, of course. So that could definitely change once we both fill these up with liquid. But right now, this feels a little more balanced too. And the handle itself does feel pretty good. So overall, I think this wins it when it comes to ergonomics. At least for me, anyway. So again, this is supposed to be 90 bucks. The IK is 120. So I guess that's enough yippee yapping, and let's go ahead and test these things. All right, so we're finally outside. We're gonna use my Corolla as the test subject for today. And we already got these filled up with the Rogue foaming soap, which is from Josh Free's lineup of Quiver. They are diluted pretty much 32 to 1, or 1 to 32. Basically 32 ounces of water and 1 ounce of soap for each of these products right here. And we're just gonna foam on the door pretty much, and probably the wheels just for the bonus. And we're gonna test these two of how they perform side by side. And just to note, we're not gonna, base this off of like cleaning capabilities. We're just gonna see how it performs from a foaming perspective, and just how it performs procedure-wise. But I imagine the procedures should be very similar with each other, but we'll see about that. So we're gonna turn on the IK first. So as usual, we just hold down the button until it lights up. And it's green right there, so we're gonna hit it right now. Okay, so you heard the relief valve going off. It did take about, at most, 20 seconds to pump up to its maximum PSI. And for it to set off the valve right there means it should be about more or less like, 40 PSI, 45 PSI, or maybe even 30. All right, so now let's turn on this little guy right here, which is the Foam Mini from Sprayer Plus. So pretty much the same thing. You hold down the button until the screen lights up, and it's hard to tell from the camera, but I can definitely see that this is on. The little mini display right here, and then all you have to do, just like this IK, we turn on this guy. Hopefully you guys can see that, but it is pumping. Okay, so because it only has to pump up to 30 just to keep up with the pressure. So because the maximum pressure is only 30, it'll definitely pump up faster. And what I can definitely tell you is that the pump was a lot less noisy than the IK. This is very loud, and this is very quiet and by comparison. So when it comes to noise levels, if you want a quieter device, this is definitely the one for you. But we'll definitely have to see where it counts, which is the foaming capability. So we're gonna definitely use the IK first. We're gonna use it on the right side of the door, or basically the passenger front. So I'm just gonna try to see if I can do this equally. Come back up. So as you can tell, yep, and it is definitely working as intended. While that's pumping, that's how it looks, right? Usual stuff. All right, and now the moment we've been waiting for, and that is the eFoam Mini. Let's see how this thing performs. All right, here we go. Well, everything else was looking very promising. The device itself is very quiet. However, and then you know what? Everything else was very promising. The motor was quiet. The process and everything of filling it up is about more or less the same, uncapping it all. And everything seemed to be very promising for this device to be possibly that killer, right? But when you look at the foaming capability, you can definitely see by comparison, I mean, yes, I did foam more on, but when you see this spitter sputtering, although it is interesting to see that this goes off right away, whereas the IK definitely waits for a certain time and then pumps up again just to kind of keep up with the performance. So yeah, so you can kind of tell the way it like sputtered and everything. You can definitely see by comparison, right, of how it sputters with this. So you know what, I actually did not expect for it to perform like that. I was really hoping that this would keep up with this guy right here, the IK. You know what, maybe there is a reason why people still like the IK. I mean, I guess it is what it is. That extra noise that this comes with, maybe there is a reason behind that, right? Whereas this, not as much, I think it comes from the fact that it does cap off earlier in the PSI side of things, so 32 PSI-ish, whereas this can go more. So I think it's got like 45 or something like that, right before 45. So that little extra bit of PSI, that 10 plus PSI difference, I guess it really does make all the difference if you want that nice foam, that is. I mean, you can pick and choose, right, of between how you want your foam if you really care that much. This is a little cheaper by, more or less 30 bucks. And I can imagine the durability on this would be on par with this, or even better, I don't know. Because the motor has to pretty much like work less, whereas this is working harder, and so maybe theoretically this will not last as long, but I don't know. That's a harder test because we just use these right now, and side by side that is. And so the longevity test is definitely out of the question for right now. But just judging from initial performance, this is the winner still. IK is still IK for a reason. They're still around for a good reason. But you know what? I'll be willing to kind of give it another chance with the wheels. But I imagine, watch this. Like, this is the IK right now. Like, look at this, very clean spray pattern and everything. This has I think this is supposed to be a 65-degree tip right here. Whereas this is supposed to be, I think, like 105 or something like that. It's something crazy. But when you take this over here, yeah, you can definitely see how like rough it looks. And then look at that. It's nice uniform white, and this is more like a bumpy, sputtery coating of that foam. So overall, I am quite disappointed with the foaming performance of this device. But you know, the only unanswered question is how long will these two last? So I'll definitely try to like go back and forth with this and see the longevity, and if there is a significant update, I will let you guys know in another video. But for right now, I think the IK is still kind of winning it in terms of just overall like that performance, the actual performance of the foaming. So if you like your foam just nice looking from a device like this, this is the winner still. Unfortunately, this little guy right here, you know, it did, you know, we it did put up a fight, I guess. Disappointingly, did not live up to my expectations as like that IK competitor in terms of just foaming. Again, the durability is another question, right? If this lasts longer, then it becomes more of a valid device to kind of compete with this. But you can pick and choose. Do you like your foaming to be nice, or do you want your devices to be potentially long lasting? We still don't know, right? So it's a little tough, I guess, depending on who you are and what are you looking for. If you don't care about performance, if you want to kind of like be ensured that this a device will last, then this could be the one. But man, you're gonna miss out on the nice foaming from the IK. You know what though? It really does look nice. It's got that nice white to it. The design and everything is great. The motor is by comparison super quiet. But that foaming is just super disappointing. And I guess it kind of reflects that noise level with, you know, by comparison. I don't know. It's just, I'm just disappointed. I was really hoping for this to contend in the foaming department. That's what we're here for today. I cannot tell you guys about the longevity, unfortunately. So it's just only the initial test. But that'll be for another time. But for right now, the IK is the winner in my book. But what do you guys think? Are you guys looking for just an alternative that's cheaper, even after shipping? Or do you just want that nice performance at that cost, right? I guess, yeah, you get what you pay for, in a way. But, you know, foaming, right? We still have to really look into that longevity. But, hey, if you don't care about longevity, then who cares, right? Anyways, comment, like, and subscribe. Really appreciate it, guys. This was a, no matter what though, this was a very fascinating experiment. And, you know, I think it was worth doing, but man, it was disappointing for this guy right here. I was really hoping, man. It had a lot of promise, but that foaming is just, it pretty much performs like that Amazon one I bought for like 40 bucks. It's half the price in it, and yet the foaming is more or less the same. But I'm pretty sure the longevity and consistency of quality will, this will be the winner. Of course, right? That's a given. While I think these ones, you know, the IK, especially the first wave, is a bit of a mixed bag. You know, some people's devices stop working, some people's are still working. Mine is still working, but then again, I don't really use it that often, so there is that. Oh yeah. All right. So I'm just rambling at this point. I'll let you guys go. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Sean out. So we have actually a bit of an update on the eFoam minis. So that sputtering that we saw with the initial sort of battle with the IK actually was likely caused by a dirty foam filter that is in the tips of these foam sprayers. And that's which is strange because this is supposed to be something out of the box. And so you're telling me that, you know, the foam mini came with a dirty little foam filter right out of the box. So having to discover that, I had to swap it out with with one of the spare foam pads that it came with, and it was actually an easy fix. And so as you can see on the screen now, it actually performs a lot more decently as a foam sprayer on its own right. But the verdict is still largely the same though. All that being said, the IK still performs very well, as we all know and love. It has that power, the oomph, the coverage is real nice, the foaming is real nice, but the foam mini now can almost do that, sort of. So it still goes to show that, you know, you get what you pay for still. So again, the foam mini is $90. Yes, it is quieter, but the PSI cutoff is 30 PSI or 32 PSI, and the IK is $120. But the max PSI on that one is 45. So, you know, it all kind of lines up and shows you that the IK still packs that punch. But again, the durability is still in question. Which one will outlast one another? I mean, that's something we'll have to see. The foam mini still, though, has a lot of promise to me because of how sophisticated it looks. The sturdiness, the build quality and everything really adds up to the foam mini. It's just that one important thing, which is the actual foaming. Something about it still lacks that punch. And yeah, again, you know, all that pressure, all the motor behind the IK, it kind of makes sense.